We are not saying grind your face off and don't take care of yourself. And we're also not saying just take care of yourself and never work. Really what we're saying is find your own unique middle. That's really the name of the game.
And you're like feeling really good? Here's my advice. Be a little hard on yourself today. Go get something done that you know you don't want to do. Push yourself. Here's why. When you're a 2 and you lose a loved one or a pet or something bad happens or you get sick, you're not going to be able to do that challenging thing.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 1123. Is it possible to have more than one genius zone? Today, for episode number 1124, why grateful ambition is so important for you. Alan, I have worn my hat for the last 3 weeks, and you don't wear a hat often, but it's very different when you wear these headphones with a hat and without a hat. So I'm not thrown off, but it's definitely different for me because I can hear myself in a different way. It's very strange. Okay. I did a NLYOU live, which all that is a conversation amongst friends in our private Facebook group where I talk to a member of the community, we have a conversation, we go deep, and we see what happens. And this wonderful young lady and I had a great conversation. And one of my questions for her was, how do you balance practicing self-love but staying in alignment with your ambition? And that really is what grateful ambition is. Grateful ambition is being grateful for what you have currently, but ambitious for what you don't have yet, for what you desire to have, for the change that you want to bring into the world. And the reason I wanted to do this episode is because I think we're in a very interesting time, and you've heard us mention this on the podcast before, where maybe 5 years ago, it was all ambition. Stay up all night, wake up at 4 a.m, don't sleep, grind your face off, ambition, 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 ambition. I think over the last year, 2 years, we've really swung back to the gratitude and self-love, which I think is obviously very, very important. That's something we talk about very often, but sometimes when that happens, you lose that side of ambition. Our goal, as always, is to drive to 5. I want you to be grateful for everything you have. I want you to practice self-love. I want you to be proud of yourself. But I also want you to be hungry for what you do not yet have. I want you to I want you to have ownership of the things that you can control and the things that aren't necessarily going your way. And I want you to be set up for the future. So that is what today's episode is about. We're always talking about the drive to 5, Alan, which means kind of the best of both worlds. I know you wanted to write a book on that back in the day, and that ended up not going that way, and things have changed. But it really is being optimized for multiple things at the same time, even though that's not humanly possible, and I'm sure you could poke holes in that. But that's what I'm saying. That's the delivery I'm bringing. And I think that we tend to be one way or the other, where you beat yourself up a lot. You're very hard on yourself.
I would say that's valid.
Yeah. I would say that's valid. And I don't know. I think what am I? Tell me about me.
This is good. I like this. This is fun. I'm in a good mood.
Same. So what happens when you go away? You went away for a couple days. You're up in the mountains getting that brisk mountain air. Come back to the office.
Yeah, almost getting eaten by a bear.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
I'm joking. I didn't. There's a story behind that, maybe for another episode.
Yes.
So which side do I think you're? I think you're harder on yourself than most. And I think that benefits you. But I think that, to your point, that can be very detrimental if you overswing that way.
Yeah.
So it is. It's a constant optimal stopping problem. For those of you who don't know optimal stopping, it's a computer science term that refers to Goldilocks is the best way to describe it. Too hot or too cold, or too big or too small for the porridge. And if you don't know the Goldilocks story, it's essentially the best way to describe this is you're going to a concert. When do you park? The closer to the venue you get, the less you have to walk, but the less likely there is a parking spot. So when do you decide to actually park? That kind of thing. So everything is, and I've talked about this quote before, how well can you hold two seemingly opposing ideas in your consciousness simultaneously? And this is that exact thing. Grateful dissatisfaction or grateful ambition or grateful aspiration. I prefer grateful aspiration. So can you be grateful for your physique now while incredibly aspirational for the physique that you want that's beyond the now? And I think that it's difficult to do those simultaneously, and I think that what we need to do is swing as close to the middle as possible. There are days when I do the thing where I look in the mirror and look at the feedback, and I say, okay, hell yeah, you're doing great. Keep it up. You're grateful for your health, and you're proving it every single day by exercising. And then there are days like today where I haven't been, so I've exercised every single day for the last 222 days. For those of you who are new listeners, a lot of new listeners lately, welcome.
Welcome.
We started something called the hashtag NLU Fit Pick Challenge way back 222 days ago. And ever since then, I've exercised for 30 minutes a day every day. But I haven't weight trained in like at least a week, if not more. And I was telling Kevin earlier, this is the longest I've gone without weight training in 8 years. And I looked in the mirror today and I had less gratitude. And I had more like, dude, like you need to get in the gym tonight. And I said that to Emilia. Emilia and I obviously lived together. She was in the room when I did this. And I said, like, we have to go to the gym tonight, like no matter what. Because last week was a really hard week productivity-wise, and we ended up walking Tucker for most of our exercise, individually and separately. As a matter of fact, some nights Tucker got 2 walks, half hour with me, half hour with her.
Lucky.
So he's living the dream these days, which is what prepared him for the hike on on Sunday. But anyways, so to bring this down to the grateful aspiration, did you say grateful ambition?
Grateful ambition, I like. I name the episodes, so don't say it any other way. No. Yeah,
right,
I like
so-
grateful ambition, but that's just what I started
Okay.
saying however many years ago, and you can say whatever
Just stuck.
you like.
Awesome. So grateful aspiration
Damn.
would be my frame. Sorry. I am farther on the aspiration side this morning when it comes to fitness because I've been overly easy on myself. Honestly, I'm just going to be direct with everybody. I've been too easy on myself. Here's why. It's important to give yourself that push. We all know that there's certain people out there who, while they might not always be super, super kind, they are what's best for us. They help us get better, right? Think of that teacher, that coach that was a little hard on you, but in hindsight, they made you better. I have a coach named Alex Goad, very hard on me, but he did make me better, and I am grateful. Okay? Sometimes you got to be that for yourself. Sometimes you got to focus more on the aspiration. You got to, you know what? Let's be more aspirational. Other times you got to be more grateful. Like, look how far I've come. That's great. There's a place for both. It's very difficult to harmonize these two, but it's absolutely everything. And so the last thing I'll say here, the reframe for me is I've reframed my definition of gratitude because I think that the opposite of gratitude is entitlement. And I think entitlement is something you're taking for granted. Entitlement, think of like a really spoiled kid who got everything by default, never really had to work for much, just kind of got their own way whenever they cried or whatever, and just always, everything came easy to them, that kind of thing. They end up very entitled. They don't really have a lot of perspective. Maybe they didn't have a lot of hardship, or maybe they haven't experienced the death in the family yet, or maybe they haven't been, been to a really tough career that's really, really, really difficult. So maybe they don't have any perspective on the value of $1 because they've never had to earn one, that kind of thing. Entitlement is the opposite of gratitude. So what is gratitude? Gratitude to me is not just something you express. It's that, but it's more importantly something you express through your actions. I'm grateful for my relationship with Emilia, and I don't just want to say it. I want it to be expressed through my daily actions. So in between, I will share this with the listeners. It's Monday. Kevin and I have been together since 10:15-ish, and it's 4:17 p.m. today on Monday, and I've gone and seen Emilia 3 separate times. In between calls, Kevin's going to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom. We take breaks in between these episodes. I've gone and seen Emilia and asked how she's doing several times. We hiked a mountain yesterday. Her toenails are very hurt because the boots were too tight, and I'm constantly checking in to see how she is and just to go see her and give her a kiss. I'm grateful for Emilia, and I want to show that with my actions, not just my words. And I think that this is my new definition of gratitude. If you're grateful for your health, you will prove it by taking good care of your health. If you're grateful for your business, you will prove it by doing what's necessary to grow it. If you're grateful for your team, you will prove it by being there to support them when they need it. One of our chief officers is having a hard time. They just lost one of their pets, and we stopped everything we were doing to send her a message. We need to prove gratitude through action, and I think that's a way you can merge aspiration and gratitude into one.
And you're probably defaulting to one. I think that's what happens is, again, that's why I always say there was the grind hustle culture, which is now deemed negative. And then there was like the purely self-love culture, which is also kind of now deemed negative because it's too much of the extreme, where the middle is a wonderful place to be. If you're feeling terrible, I want you to be able to find gratitude. I want you to be able to look in the mirror and say, wow, I've come so far. I want you to love your body and feel comfortable and safe and all of those things. On the other end, I think it's also important for you to say, you know what? I've been really letting myself down lately. I want to make sure I prove to myself that I am grateful for my ability to move my body or my ability to make money or my ability to have this relationship, whatever it may be. It really is. It's where am I? We always used to say, when things are going really, really well, seek challenge. When things are not going so well, seek comfort. And this is it's not the same exact thing, but when you're really struggling, sometimes you just have to say, you know what? I'm really grateful for how far I've come. I'm grateful for everything I have. I'm grateful for blank, 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 and I'm going to take a breather. And there's other times where you're really, really crushing it. You say, you know what? I'm going to the next level. I'm going to the next level. I'm going to the next level. And it really is. It's that swing. It's that pendulum. Do you think that you coach a lot of people? How many, what's the percentage of people that default ambition versus grateful and gratitude? Also for the listeners, Taryn, speaking of in between, Taryn brought me a couple pieces of bread from the Texas Roadhouse, and they're literally next to me, and I have the cinnamon butter, and I'm not eating them because I want to make a valuable episode that doesn't sound like that. So for you,
that's serious willpower right there.
For the squad,
your willpower is draining by the.
I have it in my periffs, which is dangerous.
Yeah, that's dangerous game. That's why I don't allow anything in my periffs for food because I will just eat it. Remember when we were working and I brought food up, or Emilia brought me dinner, and then it was like I was useless for until it was gone.
For me, when I eat, I get re-energized. When Alan eats, he's done for the night. That's it. Yep. Game over. You will get nothing else.
I only eat one meal a day.
Yes.
So percentage to answer your question.
Yeah, percentage of gratitude or grateful default versus ambitious default.
I'm Derek Smith, and I just wanted to talk to you real quick about group coaching. I found it to be very beneficial. The biggest thing that I got from it was definitely the tap out and keeping track of the daily habits. It's much easier to get these priorities done when it's scheduled. That way you know that you're doing them first compared to trying to fit them in later. So scheduling it and getting that done first and then having something accountable every single day to do those was definitely beneficial. So if you're thinking about giving group coaching a chance, you should definitely do it.
I think the reason why this data is skewed is because people come to me when they feel too far on the gratitude end. People don't really like to coach with me unless one of two scenarios happen. One, they realize that I am what they need more of. So there's two scenarios. The first one is I know that I'm too far on the gratitude side and too far on the self-love side, and I need a little bit more. I need someone hardcore in my corner. Yeah, I need a push. Which your fitness coach, Justin, you needed just more extreme. And that you went too far on that, right? So, okay. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two is someone who already really is similar in terms of hard on themselves, and they like me, and they're naturally attracted to me because of that. And by attracted to me, I obviously mean law of attraction. So I have a couple clients who are very, very, I'll use Helen. She wouldn't mind me sharing this. Helen's one of my favorite clients. Unbelievable. And she's just so unreasonably next level. And she's one of those people where the harder I am on her, the more positive our relationship, the more positive the coaching is. She's more drawn to the coaching, the more challenge I give her. But when she was in a really tough emotional spot and she broke up with a past partner, And again, she shared that in book club. She wouldn't mind me sharing that. I wasn't as hard on her right then. Right? I was much more like, take care of yourself, get back to neutral, like that kind of thing. And so with every single client, I think it's important to understand where they're at and what they need. So if someone is way too far on the self-love end, I'll be harder on them. If they're way too far on the hard on themselves end, I'll be there to support them. And I think that's the strength and warmth balance that I've been trying to learn how to strike. And I've gotten it wrong many times, but I think I'm getting better. To answer your original question, though, I think the majority of people are overly on the self-love end these days. I think that is true.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful with that because some people really do need that. You know, and it really depends on, like, if you are out there and you're feeling really good about yourself, I know this sounds weird, but if you have really high self-esteem, like seriously, like if you're doing well today, think about where you're at right now, 0 to 10, where are you at? Okay? If you're at an 8 and you're like feeling really good, here's my advice. Be a little hard on yourself today. Go get something done that you know you don't want to do. Push yourself. Here's why. When you're a 2 and you lose a loved one or a pet or something bad happens or you get sick, you're not going to be able to do that challenging thing. I'm always thinking of that. Do what's difficult when it's easy. When I have high self-esteem, I want to double down because I know I'm going to have that dark night or that dark day or that troubling time. And I know I'm not going to be able to be as productive. And that's the opposite of what most people do. When they feel good, they go enjoy and celebrate when they should be trying to be more productive and challenging themselves. And when they're down and out, that's when you call that friend. That's when you watch that show. That's when you eat that food, right? So you got to be very strategic, and it's usually the opposite of what's natural.
So today I got up at 4:30 and I was just getting after it. I was at the gym at 5. It was good. Like everything was just rolling. At the gym, great workout, came home, showered, cleaned a little bit, did the dishes. It was like boom, 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 boom. I got in the office at 7 a.m. And I had from 7 a.m. till 10 a.m., no distractions, just catching up on stuff. Then I feed the cats at 8 because they are just maniacs when they're hungry. But I felt really, really, really good. And I just was like, okay, what can I do on my to-do list? Let me answer this message. Let me do a bunch of the stuff that I've been putting off because I just have not had the state to put up with this or deal with this or get it done because the last couple weeks have been just a grind. But yesterday, so again, we record this on Monday, some of our episodes on Monday. On Sunday, Tara and I got up. So we had a wedding Saturday night, so we didn't get to bed until, I don't know, probably 11 or midnight. Sunday, I got up at 7:30, and we drove an hour, and we did a photo shoot, and then we took pictures with our family, too. And we got lunch. And then when we came home, I think I got home around like 2 or 2:30. That was it. I was done. I was like, I'm not doing anything. And I guess it's not necessarily, this isn't me being grateful, quote unquote, but this was me saying, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to allow myself to take a very small rest because I have been burning the candle at both ends, and I do believe this is what's best for me for the next week, so I can be the most productive version of myself. So,
how did you know that was optimal?
I don't. I could be wrong. For me, it was more. I haven't taken time.
I think people know. I think internally they must know. Right?
Well, I know because I haven't been...
Like, how many hours did you work last week? Like, how productive were you last week? I mean,
extreme.
Right? Isn't it extremely high?
Yeah, very, very high.
So,
but it's been like that.
If you, let's say you had only worked like 15 hours last week.
Yeah, no.
There's no way you would have been like, okay, I'm going to let it ride on Sunday.
It was,
and I think
kept
it's important
pushing. It was like, I'm burnt out this weekend, but it doesn't matter because we have so much going on. And then it was group coaching starting, whatever. Oh, we also have the meetup, whatever. It was that. It was just like, keep going, keep going. Also, I have 2 days scheduled next week for taxes. I know those are going to be minimum 12-hour days, probably more than that, probably 14 to 16-hour days each, back to back. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm trying to say, you know what? Let me create a sustainable runway based on what has happened and what's happening next week. So I think it's part of that.
And for anyone watching or listening, hopefully you're being strategic like that. Because Kevin and I, yeah, we do a lot. We're very productive. We're maximizing our potential, and we want to help you do the same. But I'm very what was it? Saturday night. So we went away this weekend. We were in upstate New York. And Saturday night, I want to say it was 7 or so when I finished my last call. And I went from essentially 8:15 a.m., which is abnormal for me. But since we were going away, I moved a call then. From 8:15 to 7 at night, completely back-to-backs, right? The biggest break in between was 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And Emilia kept going, which is fine. It's her birthday weekend, whatever she wants to do. It's no big deal. I'm just eating snacks, hanging out with Tucker. And I knew I'm done. This is it. That's the end until tomorrow evening. And then we got home here late, midnight or so. And then I woke up this morning. It was immediately back to the productivity. So grateful, aspiration, R&R versus productivity, whatever frame you want to look at this from, self-love versus grind time. There is an inner voice that you should have or do have that you can listen to where it's I know. When I watch one episode of my favorite show, it is not a big deal. When I've had a productive week, it's hell yeah, this is perfect. Permission slip granted. Here you go. Enjoy. But when it starts leaking into the second, third, we know what we're supposed to be doing. And by the way, this is your own game. This is your own life. These are your own choices, and these are your own goals. And so you kind of know when you're jeffing. The problem is what we do is we silence it, and we silence it, and we silence it, until now we have to overcorrect and overly grind. Right? So staying at 5 really is everything, and hopefully this episode was valuable for you.
Yeah, it was different. It was different than I expected, but it really is. For me, it's not. I guess that is self-love. That was another thing we talked about in the NLU Live with the wonderful member of Next Level Nation, was sometimes self-love, and this was this person's point, is doing the hard thing, even when you don't want to do it. And that was a very interesting thing where sometimes, and I've said this before, me going to the gym and boxing, although it sucks, is self-love for me. I know it's a hard workout, but I love doing it. I'm fulfilled. It's me treating my body to an excellent workout that will pump the blood, and I'll feel really good after. And I get to listen to music, and it's a time where I can kind of let loose. It's on the floor over there, but I actually just ordered a new, it's kind of like a microphone. You sit a microphone in it, and it's foam, and it comes up and around so you can record into it. It's kind of like a mini recording studio. I ordered that so I can start rapping more. Because although it seems like a pain in the butt and it seems like it drains me, it's actually something that fills my cup. It just seems like it doesn't. So that's a whole nother thing. But this will be the last thing I say, and then we'll get out of here because we got to do more episodes.
$1 in the jar.
$1 in the jar. We really should start doing that. That's really what we should do. What we should do, and we can talk about this behind the scenes, but every time you and I say that, we should tally it, and then we'll donate that to Next Level Hope Foundation. That's a potentially fun thing we can do.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I dig it. We're going to be bankrupt.
Starting now.
Yeah, starting now.
No,
we're going to be bankrupt in no time.
Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody, and I think you probably understand this at this point if you've listened to Alan and I, if you listen to the show, you know us at a fairly deep level. But if you're a new listener, I want to make sure we are not saying grind your face off and don't take care of yourself. And we're also not saying just take care of yourself and never work. Really what we're saying is find your own unique middle. That's really the name of the game. I want you to love yourself, but also love your future. But I don't want you to love your future and work to your future at the detriment of yourself. But I don't want you to love yourself at the detriment of your future. That's what we're saying here is you got to find your unique version of 5.
Fire.
Anything to add?
Nope. It's good.
Wow. I did not expect that.
I like the community member who said that self-love can be doing the hard thing. I think that's really cool for people to contemplate because self-discipline will make you feel better after. And we'll do another episode at some point. We talked about it already. How much is enjoyment making the decisions for you? How drawn to enjoying yourself are you versus being proud of yourself? And sometimes something you don't enjoy actually will make you proud of yourself. And then that goes into your relationship with discomfort. But I digress. Those are other future episodes.
Yeah, there's an interesting chasm that you have to cross. It's almost like when you start something, a new habit, it sucks.
Yeah.
But then when you do it for like a long enough time, you're like, wow, I'm really proud of myself for doing it. Therefore, I'm going to do it. It's a very interesting thing. Next
Definitely.
level nation. We are very, very, very excited to announce in March of 2023. So March 25th, 2023, we are going to be having Next Level Live version number 2. I guess that's what we're going to call it because the last one was, I guess it's Next Level Live 2023 instead of 2022. It is going to be Alan and myself. And it is going to be very, very different from any event we have ever done. It's kind of going to be a big group coaching session, but there's going to be a bunch of other things. So we're very excited. It's going to be in Worcester, Mass. Obviously, the details we don't have out yet because it's a while away. But if you are local, plan for it because we would love to have you there. And we got so much good feedback on the last one. We had people join group coaching. We had people who are coming to the retreat. We have people who have become clients later. They're very, very awesome members of the community. So please join us. We'd love to have you. I believe tickets will be $97. Again, it'll be a bargain. It will be well worth it. We promise.
All right. So if you are curious as to what Next Level Live 2022 was, I'm on the website right now. We have a tab at the top called Courses. There's 2 courses. One is the free course, which is called the Next Level 5 to Thrive, which is essentially the fundamentals to get you started with worksheets, all that, 5 modules. Next Level Live 2022 is a course. It's $47, and it's literally a virtual event. It's what we did at Next Level Live 2022 with the workbook. So everyone who attended, it's that same thing, but virtual. So check that out, and the link will be in the show notes to the website, which has come way, way, way up. So huge shout out to Alessandro. And if anyone, by the way, needs help with their website, we have something called Next Level Web Solutions, and you can look at that on the website as well. And this is how much I believe in it. Ready? So Emilia and Bianca have a company called Evolve Ventures Technologies, and I believe in our services so much that I'm recommending it to the love of my life. So I would never recommend something that I didn't think was unbelievably worth the value. So if you want a website built, Alessandro is literally incredible at it. Reach out.
Boom. Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 1125. How certainty driven are you? We've talked about the 6 basic human needs in the past. Certainty is one of them. We are going to talk about certainty and what it means for you. As always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.